Super Mario Party without a doubt is one of the best Mario Party games to come out in several years. And with that, I'm actually motivated to make a top 10 on my favorite minigames. There aren't too many guidelines for this one. I'm pretty much just basing my list off of how fun they are and what makes them stand out among the others. So without further ado, let's-a go! Never have I ever wanted to eat a cube of steak so badly. Sizzling Stakes is simple. Cook your steak on all 6 sides until it's well done. The Joy-Cons really make this minigame shine thanks to the HD rumble. By turning and shaking your Joy-Con, you can feel the fizzle of the meat cooking, and you have to carefully flip the steak with flicks of the controller. Because the HD rumble is so well done and powerful, you can actually tell from the rumble if you flip to a side that's already cooked to a side that needs cooking. This minigame reminds me a lot of Cooking Mama, which, by the way, is that series ever going to come back? Like, what happened to it? The graphics in this game also are phenomenal. I love all the details in the background, too. The glass is modeled after a warp pipe, the box of napkins is a question mark block, and when you finish your meal, it even comes with some home fries and asparagus. Oh, like seriously, I want to eat this food so badly. I have this minigame at number 10 because it is rather basic. There is not much depth to this one, but just the sheer novelty earns itself a spot on this top 10. I don't know what it is, but I love baseball games in Mario Party, and All-Star Swingers is no exception. What's special about this one is that it's one of those rhythm mini-games, so you basically have to swing to the beat to get the highest score. The song is jamming too. It's such a fun listen. What makes it so satisfying is you're rewarded for hitting the ball at the perfect time. The music kind of escalates with each perfect hit, and it just feels awesome. You do still get points for hitting the ball early or late, so it's not like you have to play like a god the whole time. There's 3 types of balls to deal with: a normal slow throw, a fast throw, and I guess what you would call a curveball? It's kind of got a mind of its own, but hey, it's something new and different. Now, I honestly love all of the rhythm mini games, but I found this one to be the most enjoyable simply because of the song and the focus on having good precision. They all focus on timing technically, but it just seems most apparent here. This minigame really reminds me of those music-based levels from Rayman Legends. It's kinda got the same vibe. I guess the last thing to touch on is there's a hard version of this minigame. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first Mario Party to have specific minigames with difficulty levels, and I honestly really love that they're doing that. How the heck do you say that word? I don't know. Isthmus Be the Way. So think Paths of Peril from Mario Party 4, but now everyone works together. So pretty much, you gotta take this giant bomb from one side of the path to the other. It's a lot like a relay race, because when one character gets a quarter of the way there, you pass off the bomb. I was never that big a fan of Paths of Peril because the paths themselves were always way too small, so I'm glad they kinda widened the gaps a little bit for this minigame. While it is pretty easy, I think what makes it fun is trying to plow through as fast as you can. Cutting corners can save fractions of time, and it's pretty fun excelling at a game like this. Then of course when you get to the end, the bomb is thrown into a cannon and boom, it wasn't even a bomb. It was apparently a giant firework. I guess really my only question is, what exactly are we standing on? I mean, yeah, it's a rock structure over some water, but why would the designers carve the path in such a contorted manner? Since there's lamps on the bridges, it's implied that visitors are supposed to walk across the path to see the sky and ocean, so why would they make it so wavy? I don't know. Why yes, I've always wanted a slice of Overcooked in my Mario Party. Because yeah, Dash and Dine pretty much is a watered down version of Overcooked, which by the way, if you haven't played that, you seriously need to because it's a blast. But anyway, the goal is to work with a teammate and prepare as many meals as possible. You'll see some items on the menu like bacon, tomatoes, or lettuce, and you have to coordinate and collect those ingredients as quickly as you can. If you do grab the wrong thing by accident, you can set it back down where it was, which is actually a really nice feature to have. Playing with really good people or computers makes this a hectic experience. So while this concept isn't that innovative, there's more to sink your teeth into compared to the minigames I talked about before. And man, the frickin' Toad running around with the bun is the most infuriating thing to deal with. Like, what's he even doing in the kitchen? Get out of here, dude! he'll constantly get in your way, so you have to manage him along with everyone else on the screen to make the meals as fast as possible. But that's what makes this one so fun. Your eyes need to be in 8 places at once, pre-routing where to go next and how to be the fastest. And it's topped off perfectly with the music. It's got a soothing yet frantic feel, which complements the minigame eloquently. You might look at the title of this minigame, Fetch Quest, and think, oh god, boring, mindless side missions. But no, that's not at all what this one's about. You have to collect 9 crystal shards and they're scattered around this maze. This is another one of those team-based minigames like Isthmus Be the Way, but it's much more interactive and just fun to play. Trying to find the fastest and most efficient route is what makes Fetch Quest so satisfying, especially since you can pass the shards off to other players. There's also red and blue switches to step on, so while 2 players stand in place, the other 2 can grab the gems to finish up. After you collect them all, the door opens and you can escape. Hurrah! I could see me and a group of friends playing Fetch Quest for like an hour just trying to improve our time and create faster routes, because there's so much potential in doing so. Now, I do wish there was like 2 or 3 different mazes to cycle through, because it's just one, but besides that, this minigame is a gem. Pun intended. I'm not gonna lie, the name for this one is kinda strange. Bopping Spree. I mean, I get why that's the name, but I don't know, it just doesn't sound right. Anyway, so this is a 1 versus 3, and you basically race to bop 20 lit up punching bags. 20 may sound like a lot of hits, but it goes by so fast. The player all alone runs around in the inside while the other 3 are on the outside. I've played this one quite a few times, and I can't really tell which group has the better advantage. On the left by yourself, it's really easy to run from bag to bag, but it can take some time if the bags spawn far away from each other. On the right with the 3 players, it's harder to hit the bags quickly, but with proper coordination, the team can be really productive. So you've got 2 different dynamics of thinking depending on which side you're on, and I think that's what makes this minigame so cool considering everyone is still doing the same task. And finally, the graphics just look really cool. They remind me a lot of Punch-Out! Oh my god, do I adore this minigame. Spear Mongers pits everyone in these spaceships with giant magnets dangling on the bottom. The objective is to collect the most marble balls in the time given. There's mostly silver balls, but the occasional gold ones are worth more, as you'd expect. There's something really great about sucking up a bunch of balls and dragging them back to your base. Wow, that sounds really wrong out of context, I'm sorry. The HD Rumble really adds to the experience because you can feel each individual ball cling onto the ship. It's hard to describe unless you try it for yourself. What makes this challenging is the other players can steal chunks of your pile from you even if they're already attached, so it's pretty nerve-wracking trying to send the most balls to your base. It's such a simple idea, but playing against the others makes it so much more complex and interesting. I think it's fair to state that everyone loves bumper balls. It's a classic minigame from the N64 Mario parties, but what if I told you that Bumper Brawl is slightly better? This is basically bumper balls but on steroids. Instead of 4 players, you got 16 simultaneously. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. In teams of 2, you want to survive as long as you can. While this minigame still relies on understanding the gravity and physics, you can now hold a button to charge up speed like a Sonic Spin Dash, helping knock players off. This really helps Bumper Ball's main issue, which was constantly getting tie battles. That doesn't happen in this minigame because the speed boost is really hard to survive after getting hit, especially if you're close to the edge. The only issue I have with this minigame is the field itself seems a little on the small side. Sometimes you'll fall off simply because of bad luck and the fact that there's too much chaos. But overall, I think Bumper Brawl is an improvement to Bumper Balls and is a worthy successor to that minigame. I can't believe I've got a minigame where you literally vacuum on a top 10 best list, but here we are now. Dust Buddies is a 1 versus 3, where one player gets a vacuum with a giant nozzle, and the other 3 have smaller nozzles, but all the dust goes into the same vacuum. From what I've played, this is one of the most balanced 1v3 minigames I've ever seen. The player alone has free range of moving wherever he wants, which sounds great, but it's just the one guy. The 3 players have to move in harmony to win the minigame, but that's hard to do because you're trying to have all 3 of you suck dust at the same time while also making it harder for the one player to get dust near him. It's really just a lot to think about, and it always seems like the wins kind of go back and forth with this minigame, and that's not very common for a 1 versus 3. So I'm impressed. It's balanced, and again, I'm having fun doing a chore, which is honestly a miracle. But now, on to what I would consider the best Super Mario Party minigame. I hope you're ready to go bananas because my number 1 pick is Trip Navigator. All 4 players start in the corner of a square and have to make their way to the middle as fast as possible. But alas, there's tons of bananas in the way, and you have to wiggle and waggle your way around them without tripping. And you seriously don't want to trip, because it takes like 8 years to get back up, so you really gotta be careful. This one is the most satisfying for me to play because it feels different every single time. I'm never sure which way to go because of the screen crunch. You have to carefully traverse your way through the bananas, and that's a lot of fun to do. I especially love being able to squeeze through a tiny path of bananas. It's really invigorating taking a shortcut that doesn't look like it's supposed to be possible. And at the end, you win a giant pile of bananas. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Yeah, that's right. You can't go wrong with that, okay? You just can't. And with that, guys, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments what your favorite Super Mario Party minigames are and why. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Also, if this video does well, I'll consider doing a worst minigame list too.